Let's get real. You did everything right: school, hard work, sleepless nights, and a mountain of student debt. Maybe you even skipped parties, took on internships, or worked weekends at the campus coffee shop just to keep up. The promise? A good job, a stable life, maybe even a little peace of mind at the grocery store. You pictured yourself finally affording that apartment with sunlight, or treating your parents to dinner as a thank you. But after graduation, reality hits. The straight path you were promised is a chaotic mess. Suddenly, every job wants 3 to 5 years of experience, even for entry-level roles. That handshake deal with society? Left hanging. The welcome to the real world moment feels more like a trapdoor opening beneath your feet. The dream job is now a string of gigs and side hustles, barely enough to keep you afloat. Maybe you're delivering food by day, freelancing by night, and still checking your bank account before buying coffee. This isn't the adulthood we were sold. Instead of housewarming parties, it's splitting rent 5 ways and hoping the Wi-Fi holds up for your next Zoom interview. It's a knockoff version. And the whiplash between expectation and reality is our generation's rite of passage. We laugh about it, but it stings, especially when you see your parents' confusion or your younger siblings' questions. You're not crazy for feeling lost. You're not failing. Everyone you know is quietly fighting the same battle, even if their Instagram says otherwise. You're just the latest to realize the product didn't match the box. The success story you were sold was missing a few chapters and a lot of fine print. So, what happened? Did we mess up? No. The questions you're asking are the same ones echoing in every group chat and late-night phone call. The game was rigged from the start. The rules were written before we even got to the table, and the instructions keep changing. The goalposts moved, the rules changed, and the system now runs on your hope and hustle. It's like being told to run a marathon, but the finish line keeps moving further away. This isn't a personal failing, it's a systemic bait and switch. If you feel like you're treading water, it's because the tide keeps rising. The system we were told to trust has fundamentally changed. The safety nets are full of holes, and the ladders are missing rungs. It's time to talk about it, loudly, because silence only helps the people who benefit from the confusion. Because you deserve to know the truth. You deserve to know you're not alone, and you're not imagining things, and you're not alone in this. We're all in it together, figuring it out, one messy, mismatched step at a time. Let's talk about that first real job, the one everyone told us would be the start of everything. Remember graduation day? The excitement, the speeches about endless possibilities. But no one mentioned the anxiety that creeps in the moment you step into your first office. You perfect your resume, nail the interview, and then your heart sinks at the salary. I remember staring at my first offer, wondering if it was a typo. Turns out it wasn't. After taxes, rent, and student loans, you're left with pocket change. I used to joke with friends that my paycheck evaporated before I could even enjoy it. The job promised growth, but it means doing the work of 3 people for half a paycheck. Lunch breaks become a luxury, and work-life balance feels like a myth. You're expected to have experience, energy, and no financial needs. It's like you're supposed to be a seasoned pro, but also grateful just to be there. The mentorship? More like being thrown in the deep end with a cryptic boss. My first week, I was told, just figure it out. No manual, no guidance, just a lot of guessing. Wages have stagnated, while requirements have skyrocketed. Entry level now means already an expert. That degree, now just the bare minimum. I remember thinking my diploma was a golden ticket. Turns out it's just the cover charge. You take the job because you have to, telling yourself it's a stepping stone. I told myself, everyone starts somewhere, even as I felt stuck. But the stones feel like quicksand. Every step forward feels like you're sinking deeper. This is the diploma deception. The key you were promised just opens a door to more hard work and higher bills. I wish someone had told me that the real world is mostly about survival at first. Welcome to the real world. It's not what we expected, but at least we're in it together. Let's do the math. The average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in major cities has jumped by over 30% in the last 5 years alone. Your first salary might look decent on paper, until you realize rent alone can swallow up half or even more of your monthly income. The 30% rule for housing? That's ancient history. In cities like New York or San Francisco, young people routinely spend 40 to 50% of their paychecks just to keep a roof over their heads. Groceries, gas, phone, internet, essentials, not luxuries, are all more expensive. The price of eggs has doubled in some places, and filling up your tank can cost a quarter of your weekly budget. Student loans start draining your account before you can even breathe. The average graduate leaves school with over $30,000 in debt, and monthly payments can rival your rent. You're working full-time, but still living paycheck to paycheck. Nearly 60% of young adults say they have less than $500 in savings. Saving for a house? That's a punchline now. The median home price is up 40% since 2020, while wages have barely budged. The goal isn't to thrive, just to survive until the next payday. Many skip meals or social events just to make ends meet. This isn't just bad luck. It's the result of policies that favor profits over people. Corporate landlords and investors now own a record share of rental properties. Housing is treated as an investment, education as a product, and you're stuck in the middle, paying more for both, with less security. The financial squeeze is relentless. One unexpected expense, a medical bill, a car repair, can push you over the edge. You're forced to make impossible choices. Do you pay the electric bill or buy enough food for the week? And this is the daily reality for millions. For many, the only way to get by is to move back home, take on side gigs, or share cramped apartments with strangers. The struggle isn't just about money, it's about dignity, independence, and the hope that things will get better. Before the underpaid job, there's the unpaid internship. For many, it's the first real step into the working world, except there's no paycheck. It's sold as a golden opportunity, a foot in the door, but in reality, it's a system of free labor that only the privileged can afford. This gatekeeping locks out anyone without a safety net. If you can't afford to work for free, you're left behind, making industries less diverse and more exclusive. The unpaid internship isn't just unfair. It's a systemic problem that keeps the door closed for most. Experts say unpaid internships reinforce inequality. According to labor economists, students from lower-income backgrounds are far less likely to land jobs in competitive fields because they can't afford to work for free. Some companies are starting to change, but the unpaid internship industrial complex is still alive and well. Until it's dismantled, the first step into many careers will remain out of reach for too many. Welcome to the productivity paradox. You're stepping into a world where expectations have never been higher, but the rewards seem to shrink with every passing year. You're expected to be always on, always available, and more productive than ever. The average work week for young professionals has quietly crept past 45 hours, with many reporting they answer emails late into the night. But your pay and security haven't kept up. Since 2000, entry-level salaries have barely budged when adjusted for inflation, while the cost of living, especially rent, has soared. The benefits of your hard work flow upward, not to you. In 2023, S&P 500 companies reported record profits, but wage growth for entry-level workers lagged far behind. Hustle culture is just a way to squeeze more out of you for less. Stories of grindset and side hustles flood social media, but for many, it's just a way to survive, not thrive. Perks like free snacks and game rooms replace real benefits. Health insurance deductibles rise, while fun office perks are offered as consolation. Burnout is the norm, not the exception. According to a 2022 survey, over 60% of Gen Z workers reported feeling burned out at least once a week. You're working harder than ever, and getting less in return. The promise of upward mobility feels more distant, as each paycheck barely covers the basics. For many, the first years of work are a crash course in economic reality. The system demands more, but gives back less, leaving a generation to wonder if the equation will ever balance. This pressure isn't just financial, it's mental. I remember my first year out of college, lying awake at night, replaying every mistake I made at work, and wondering if I'd ever feel secure. Constant anxiety about money, rent, and debt wears you down. According to a 2023 survey by the American Psychological Association, over 70% of young adults report that financial stress is a major source of anxiety. Rates of anxiety and depression are skyrocketing, and it's no coincidence. Many of us feel isolated, even when surrounded by people. The system is designed to make you blame yourself, not the real problem. I used to think I just wasn't cut out for adulthood, but the truth is, the expectations are unrealistic for almost everyone. Feeling overwhelmed isn't weakness. It's a rational response to an irrational situation. Research shows that practicing mindfulness, Journaling, or even just talking to someone you trust, can help manage these feelings. Your brain isn't broken, the system is. Seeking help isn't a sign of failure, it's a step toward healing. Recognizing this is the first step to reclaiming your mental health. Reach out to friends, join support groups, or talk to a professional. There are resources out there, and you deserve support. You're not alone, and you're not the problem. Together, we can start to change the conversation and support each other through it. Hear this. It's not your fault. The struggle you feel isn't a personal failing. It's a product of the world you've inherited. You're not lazy or entitled. You're in a system rigged against you. Let's look at the facts. Since the 1980s, wages for young workers have barely budged, while the cost of living, rent, healthcare, education, has skyrocketed. Student debt has more than tripled in the last 2 decades. Decades of policy have favored corporations, not workers. Deregulation, tax breaks for the wealthy, and weakened labor protections have tilted the playing field. Take Maya, for example, a recent grad working 3 jobs, still barely scraping by. You can't budget your way out of a rigged game. Your parents played on easy mode. You're on expert with no save points. In 1980, a college degree almost guaranteed a stable job and a house. Today, it's just the entry fee. Alex, 22, has applied to over 100 jobs and received more rejection emails than responses. Blaming yourself is exactly what the system wants. The problem isn't you, it's the structure. Throughout history, when systems failed people, collective action brought change. Understanding this is liberating. Recognizing the system is the first step toward change. When you see the bigger picture, you can start to rewrite the rules, together. The bootstrap myth says hard work alone leads to success. But that's just one of many myths we're told. Another myth? That everyone starts on a level playing field. In reality, some people are born with connections, wealth, or safety nets, while others face obstacles from day one. These myths ignore the barriers and rising costs holding people back, like student debt, discrimination, or lack of affordable housing. The myth of meritocracy justifies inequality and blames the victims. It says if you're struggling, it's your fault. Millions work hard, sometimes at multiple jobs, and still can't get ahead. The system is holding them down, not their lack of effort. Take Maya, for example. She worked full-time through college, graduated with honors, but couldn't find a job until a family friend gave her a referral. Success isn't just about effort, it's about opportunity and support. Hard work matters, but the playing field is broken. Stories like Maya's and countless others prove it. It's time to fix the ground, not just pull harder on the straps. Real change means breaking down barriers and building real opportunities for everyone. So, where does that leave us? In a world that often feels overwhelming, it's easy to think you're the only one struggling. You're not alone in this struggle. There are millions of others feeling the same uncertainty, the same pressure. Everyone around you feels it too, even if they don't always show it. The system wants you isolated, but solidarity is our power. When we come together, we're stronger. Talk about your struggles. Break the taboo around money, stress, and uncertainty. Reach out to friends, family, or even online communities. When we share, we see the patterns and realize it's not just us. There are resources out there: hotlines, counseling, financial aid, and peer support groups. Transparency builds community and fuels change. Don't hesitate to seek help or offer it to others. This isn't about handouts. It's about a fair shot. You deserve dignity, respect, and opportunity. Demand policies that support real people: higher wages, affordable housing, student debt relief, and access to mental health care. And the right to organize, to speak up, and to be heard. Change starts with honest conversation and collective action. Even small steps matter. Be kind to yourself. Your struggle isn't your fault. It's okay to take breaks, to rest, and to ask for help. Find your people, share your stories, and get informed. There's strength in knowledge and in community. Together, we can turn frustration into real change. Remember, you are resilient, you are worthy, and you are never alone on this journey.